Hey friends, welcome to 9.2. Overall, Vengeance Demon Hunter is in a great spot heading into the latest patch, and there's quite a number of reasons why. Overall, the class isn't seeing a lot of changes, but we're going to see the ability to use double legendaries come back, similar to what we had in the second half of Legion. As well, tier set are coming back, and I'm really excited for how this is ultimately going to influence our playstyle. We're going to talk about covenants, we're going to talk about tier sets in a little bit, but before we do, we're going to talk about overall builds. So this is what I'd recommend to start with. It's a decent option overall from a defensive perspective. If you're really trying to do any kind of progression, this is probably where you want to maximize your defensives, and this is the build for you. So tier 1, we're going with Agonizing Flames. Tier 2, Burning Alive. Tier 3, Charred Flesh. Tier 4, Fracture. Tier 5, Quickened Sigils. Tier 6, Demonic. And Tier 7, finally, Last Result. You can make a couple real fun changes to this. If you're looking to have a little bit more healing on single target fights, you can go towards Fallout on tier 2 and really take advantage of Immolation Aura. Alternatively, you can go with Sigil of Chains if you're looking for a little bit more of a control, and that's certainly like an absolute go-to when it comes to Mythic Plus content. So these are overall just kind of cookie cutter builds. Ultimately, it's going to come down to understanding specifically what you're looking to play, but if you're new to the spec, this is a great way to go into either raiding or Mythic Plus. If you start to get a little more experienced in Mythic Plus and start pushing keys in that like 15 to 20 range, there's almost no way you'll be doing tier 15 without Sigil of Chains. Being able to control the groups that your class is facing, it makes a huge difference. The alternative build that you can go with is actually to get away from the Fiery Brand build and go with Fallout as on tier 2. Bring back Spirit Bomb if you're less familiar with what that looks like, and then you're down again to Sigil of Chains or Quickened Sigils. There should be no changes to tier 6 or tier 7. Overall, Vengeance is in a great spot, so it really kind of just comes down to what it looks like. Fracture's great for single target DPS. If you think you're going to need to push more AoE type damage, you can take advantage of Feed the Demon, and that's going to affect really the duration of your demon spikes, which feels good defensively, but overall what it allows you to do is save a little bit more rage for Soul Cleave, so that's how it kind of complements your damage throughput. And then again, like that Sigil of Chains or Quickened Sigils just kind of comes down to you and your desire to have control over the different mobs that are out there. So that's where we're starting from a talent perspective. Now, as we start to get into the tier sets, ultimately Vengeance is going to have a bunch of fun here. The 2-piece tier set for Vengeance, any damage that gets dealt by Immolation Aura has a 10% chance to generate a lesser soul fragment via Shattered Souls, which only helps your survivability as well as our damage. As far as where Vengeance is at with the 4-piece, consuming a lesser soul fragment reduces the remaining cooldown of Immolation Aura and Fell Devastation by 1 second. So absolutely fantastic, and that's where you see the additional soul fragments being produced really kind of complement where the build is going. Tier 2 spawns extra soul targets. The 2-piece spawns extra soul targets in single target damage. That won't happen a whole ton of times, so 1 out of every 10 hits. Basically, the larger groups you can pull, the more you're going to be creating additional souls that can really become effective. If you're in Mythic Plus and you've got really large mob numbers coming after you, you can take advantage of the damage from Spirit Bomb. That's the beneficial part of it. Overall, it's just kind of underwhelming if you're just looking at the 2-piece set by itself. But the 4-piece set will increase your durability during Demonic. as well as during Metamorphosis. And it's going to have a really nice role when you're in Mythic Plus, because we're just continuously dumping on mobs and getting more and more real opponents chasing us. This is where it starts to complement us significantly, as it's able to reduce the Fell Devastation cooldown. And as that Fell Devastation cooldown reduces, a couple fun abilities come through, and it's going to be tied to your choices around what you want to do as far as Covenant goes. The absolute go-to is Kyrian. That's our best Covenant that's out there. Night Fae and Venthyr are really solid for Havoc if you prefer to battle that way. But if you're looking to just pick what the absolute best overall single legendary is, it's going to be Kyrian, and taking advantage of Blind Faith because its ability to shatter lesser soul fragments as well as buff our overall versatility. So if you go with Kyrian for that single legendary and take advantage of what that looks like, you now get yourself in a really good position. You heard many times through the guide so far, we're going to be producing a bunch of lesser soul fragments, but depending on how you want to push, now you have a fun choice. Do you want to go with Ezekiel's Defilement, where Soul Cleave reduces the remaining cooldown on a random sigil by 8 seconds? I don't like the RNG side of that. Fiery Soul, each soul fragment consumed by Soul Cleave reduces the cooldown of Fiery Brand by 2 seconds. That can be really material, and you can start to get Fiery Brand that's already on a 1 minute cooldown up. And this will really complement our overall throughput. Alternatively, Collective Anguish, if you're looking to maximize your DPS, basically casting Fell Devastation, summoning an allied Demon Hunter who casts Sidebeam. We're going to be able to do that more often because of all of the lesser soul fragments that we're going to be picking up. So to me personally, I think it's between Fiery Soul and Collective Anguish. And because Collective Anguish has a complementary ability with Havoc, this is probably where I'll start for Mythic Plus content, because I do jump between Havoc and Vengeance. Alternatively, if you're looking to like push high-end progression, whether you're in Raiding or Mythic Plus, and you're strictly looking to maximize your Vengeance abilities, this is ultimately where you want to roll. Grab Fiery Soul, get its uptime available as much as possible, and you will become much more intimidating for a lot of different classes that are here. I think it's really going to help the class. I think it's going to reduce our squishiness significantly, and being able to see Fiery Soul's real cooldown drop every time that you either cast Soul Cleave or Spirit Bomb is just going to feel incredibly rewarding. So take it into consideration. Vengeance is in a pretty darn good spot overall, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun in the new raid. Alright folks, that's it. Thanks for checking out the vid. Drop it down in the comments. Let me know the things that I missed that I could do better. And I appreciate the feedback as always. Talk to you soon. Peace.